The Prime Minister has lied to Parliament, according to Boris Johnson's former right-hand man and multiple witnesses who worked for Downing Street. Yes, he's back. Dominic Cummings is giving out more evidence. He says that there are more photo evidence and also, just generally speaking, multiple witnesses who can confirm his claims that the Prime Minister has lied to Parliament. Now, forget about all the parties. Forget about just general lying or misleading or, oh, was this a party, was it work? Ignore all that, because that's just gossip, right? Focus on the Constitution. The red line should be that the Prime Minister, or when it comes to Scotland, do you remember Nicola Sturgeon misleading Parliament in Scotland as well? You cannot lie to the House of Commons. If it is true, I don't care about tiny rule breakings or hypocrisy or double standards. I don't care about that. I care about the Constitution, and I care about whether it's codified or not codified. I don't care. We have a system for a reason, and parliamentary democracy should be respected. And any Prime Minister, whether you're right wing or left wing, if you break the rules, you have to go and you have to take your wallpaper with you. And this is why it is important to kind of focus on, yes, the messenger is Dominic Cummings. He wants to take revenge. He's also waited until now because I think he wants to be the guy who pulls the final trigger in this saga, the ultimate revenge. So obviously the source is biased against Boris Johnson. We know that. But if there is evidence in terms of misleading Parliament or lying to Parliament, then that is a whole different thing. It's not really just about, oh, did you have a drink? Or did you have cheese? Or did you have wine? Now, Downing Street are being quiet again. This is Dominic Cummings' blog, where he put out all the bullet points. He said that was it. The Prime Minister's PPS invited people to the drinks party. The Prime Minister was told to cancel this thing, and he checked with the PM, the PPS, and the party went ahead. The Prime Minister agreed, and he actually went to the party. Both of them did. It was actually a drinks party. And then the events of the 20th of May alone, never mind the string of other events, mean that the Prime Minister lied to Parliament about the concept of the existence of the parties. So whether you're a Boris loyalist, and I know that some people are still there because they're just scared of the fact that there could be a new leader, afraid of change, and some people think that, well, getting rid of Boris Johnson means you're going to have Starmer by default. That's not how parliamentary democracy works in this country. Doesn't really matter, because the way it's going and the way the opinion polls are showing consistently that if Boris stays, the Tories will lose government. Now, I know that some non-Tory right-wingers will be happy, but short term, that means Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. That means they're going to lower the voting age to 16 and give voting rights to foreigners and much more. And then that will not really allow any other centrist or centre-right or right-wing parties actually even get into government anymore. So for the sake of the government, the country, and the people of this country and the Constitution, essentially, if this is true, Boris needs to go. That's the only problem that we have. Now, if it's not true, then that changes the whole game. There is this issue that Downing Street are trying their best to survive, to be now the good cops. They're giving us good news. They are now removing all restrictions, everything, including self-isolation, including the health passports, and every single thing, including coverings. And they say that you no longer need to have any sort of tests or isolate. You just live with it. So that's good news, but the motivation that is giving Downing Street as a good piece of news is, of course, very, very obvious. So it doesn't really matter why they're doing it, but at this point, we need to live with this, and that's all I care about. And there are bigger problems to focus on. You got Russia and Ukraine, which we're going to talk about in the next video. We got China's imperialism expanding. Iran is still causing chaos in around Lebanon and Iraq, and everything else. And Dr. Fauci needs to be arrested. That's another one. And we need to take back the knighthoods from a number of people. I'm not going to name them anymore. You know who they are. But there are big issues to talk about, and also the mainstream media completely being complacent. So stay on this channel, subscribe, and click on the bell next to it. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.